I think we can call this officially the worst betrayal of my book buying ban resolution. Uh huh. In my defense, I have no defense. Okay, so this is what happened. On Tuesday, this Tuesday, like the past Tuesday, were the days that I had the longer shifts at work. So I got, yeah, in my defense, I have no defense. I don't, okay? Let's just get that out of there. Sorry, my hair's a little still wet because I got back from my walk and took a shower. First of all, my walk was lovely. Today it's so nice outside. It's like 7 degrees. That is it's 7 degrees and sunny and just beautiful. And that is wonderful. That is wonderful weather compared to the minus 30 that we were last week. So today was wonderful. I went for my walk. I went down to the post office. I dropped some stuff off at the library. And that's where it all horribly went wrong. Because first, nope, I'm going to tell you what I got in a second. But first, that's just where it all horribly went wrong. I finished the first season of My Brilliant Friend. Really enjoyed it. Because, I totally love that. It's like, set in like small Italian town, this small sort of like suburb in Naples, and it's the two girls, Lila and Elena. And they nicknamed Inu, right? Yeah. And of course they're friends and they're growing up in this small little town. And the again, it's like I totally enjoyed it, totally up my alley. I don't understand the hoopla around it. I mean, besides the fact that Elena Ferrante, like, I haven't read her book yet. I have it on my TBR, but just based on the show, it's beautifully, constructed and acted, and the setting is amazing and all that stuff. So I imagine that the book is beautifully written. So going in with the sort of educated guess that the book is beautifully written, I don't really see what all the hoopla is about, considering that this isn't anything really new. Two girls growing up in a small town or small, just place, and sort of their trials and tribulations and their relationships. And of course, it's complex because one is the bad one and one is the good one. Like it's nothing new. And when I mention that it's something's like that, a lot of like the beats of it are like cliche or whatever, I'm the kind of person that people see cliches as like bad things. I don't. I enjoy cliches because they're cliches because they work. People use them and reuse them because those beats of plot, literature, trope, whatever, they work. And so I do not shy away from cliche things. So we have um, Inu, who's going and like pursuing her sort of education. And we have Leela, who was raised by an utter trash father. I don't care how like nice he pretends to be to her, like as she's older and like, has these like nice like moments or whatever with her. The moment he threw that 6-year-old girl out the fucking window, that man was dead to me. I don't care. Oh, he's Italian and they have like high tempers or whatever. Shut the. I don't care. If you love your daughter, you do not throw her out a window. She's this freaking tiny little. Oh, he was dead to me from that moment on. And the season throughout, even Leela grows up, Elena Inu grows up. I still freaking hate him. When Leela grows up and she and her brother, they work on this new sort of shoe design, and he decides to like, you know, use it to like open up this business, but they need money for the business, so they end up making this deal with this guy who's a part of the family that is sort of like the sort of like the bad family that kind of runs the neighborhood that everybody's kind of afraid of. But they end up, making a deal with him, and Leela gets into a relationship with him, even though it's I think it's the guy's brother who is like obsessed with her, but she seems to want nothing to do with him. But put a pin in that. Put a pin in that for a second. But so she ends up in a relationship with the brother, who's supposedly the nicer brother, and he kind of like, I don't want to say that like he agrees to fund their or like back their business if Leela marries him, but somehow like that ends up happening, and he's sort of like the backup partner kind of thing in the deal. Um, so because before that, the bad brother was kind of like took it as his right that if he likes Leela, then he, you know, depends he deserves to marry her, and how could she deny him, because he's like his family runs the neighborhood, and everybody has to do what that family says. And Leela was like, nope, 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 don't want it, don't. And they would like pick up girls, and like I don't know if they would like either like if it was like never like really made clear if they actually like would rape these girls, or like just attempted rape, or like molest them. Put a pin in that for a second, because we're going to talk about that in a second. But they would just basically treat the women of their neighborhood very, very badly. And so Leela was like, I want nothing to do with this dude. I, just no, I have no intention of marrying him. Even like the father was like trying to, he wouldn't go so far as to force her to marry him, but he would like get mad at her and like just be like awful to her, and but no, she stood her ground and said, I'm not going to marry him. But yet she turns around and marries the brother, or the brother or the cousin, or some guy who's connected to that guy. But she had like one condition, that the bad guy would not be invited to the wedding. would have nothing to do with their marriage, and like their, like, she wanted nothing to do with that guy at all. Like, her kind of refusal and like anger and like fear of this guy, this bad guy, wasn't it Marcello? I think his name was Marcello. Her fear of him and her, like, I don't know, it was weird because he clearly always like wanted to be like around her, like he wanted her. Like, there might be a kernel of something genuine, either it was like love but like twisted, that he might have felt for her. And there's something, it was weird because there's like a hatred, but there's like almost like an undercurrent of attraction between them. I won't say love, definitely not on her part, but I think there's a part of her that is drawn to him. That's sort of what came across in the scenes with them. Almost like she's afraid of him, but she's also kind of attracted to him. And that is sort of what's behind her not wanting to have anything to do with him and wanting to keep him away from her and from her wedding and from her, just not, she wants him to have like nothing to do with their marriage. So fine. So the guy that she's marrying, Stefano, I think his name is all like, yes, yes, of course, like he won't be invited to the wedding and blah blah blah. Okay. Well, in the last episode of the season, they get married, Leela and this guy Stefano. And no, Marcello does not show up to the wedding, but he shows up to the reception. So this guy who Leela just married, who promised that the guy that she hates would have nothing to do with their life and their marriage or whatever, basically betrayed her, I guess, or like lied to her, and is just sort of like, gives her this look of like, yeah, like, what could I do, kind of thing. And I hope that she throws this new husband of hers out the window. I hope she stabs him in his sleep. Because it was the one thing that she asked of him. The one freaking thing. And you could, like, even like just knowing the character of Leela, she's very a hard sort of character. She has like moments of warmth, and just because there's something about her that is just very hard, but that hardness is like hiding sort of like a lot of pain. And she's following this life of like going into like marrying this guy and all this stuff because she has not had the opportunities that Inu has had. Now Inu, she goes to this seaside village to work for this lady, while she gets to go to and then she's going to get to go to university or high school, one of them. Either way, she's pursuing her education. Leela, unfortunately, does not have that same opportunity. And then we have the family who's coming to visit this woman, the woman that she works for. I don't remember if they're related to her or what, but it's the little boy that she had a crush on when she was young, Nino. And he's grown up now. And I always hoped that that little boy would come back and that he and Inu would end up together. Now I'm not sure. Because he comes back and there seems to be like a spark between them still. But then he says something stupid, like that when he was little, because he said that when he was little, he told her that he was going to marry her someday. But grown up, he was like, yeah, I said that because I wanted to marry Leela too. So this boy that she has carried this torch for into her teenage years thought that he could marry both her and Leela, which was just another sort of stab at her, because she thought that he wanted her, herself, but no, it turns out that she even has to compete with Leela for this now. But then, they seem to be growing closer, but he's just very sort of aloof and just, again, it's sort of like that same sort of cliche guy where he's mysterious and he's scholarly and knows all these it has these grand discussions about philosophy, but he seems to like me, but he holds me off, but it was getting to the point where I'm I'm not sure. There are times when I like Nino. There's times when I want to punch him in the face. And he has a very big hatred of his father. Understandable, because the reason that they had to leave the small town, was because his father cheated on his mother with a woman in town who has pretty much lost her mind now. The woman. So he has a hatred of his father. And the father ends up molesting Inu. So then for a while, she was sort of pulling away from Nino. And then they kind of came back together in university and sort of seemed to be getting closer again. Then at the wedding, he was all cold and removed and aloof to her again. Where I'm just okay, if you want her, be with her and just be a normal guy. If you don't, leave her alone. Leave her alone and go somewhere else. So I'm sort of torn right now. I'm sort of torn. Yeah, so definitely interested in watching season 2. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, my library, and I even did a search, and I can't find any library that has season 2. I might have to buy it. Because I looked it up, and turns out there are 4 seasons. Which I guess is a season per book? I guess, because there's 4 books in the series. So I really, really enjoyed it. Really looking forward to the rest of the story. I am still reading Clara's War by Clara Kramer. I haven't reached the middle yet, but I'm getting there. At this point, we have Clara and her family and another family, I believe, they're all living underneath this Mr. Beck's house. And it's like he is not overly fond of Jews, but he hates the Nazis more. So it's sort of he's doesn't mind helping them, and he's not, you know, mean to them or anything like that. Um, and I'm at the point where the mother is actually not with them right now. I don't remember why she left the bunker, but she left the bunker to go do something. And then somehow ended up at this, I don't know, is she at a hospital or is she just at somebody's house? But either way, there's a typhus outbreak, and she's is sort of in the middle of that. As far as we know, she doesn't have typhus yet, perhaps. But Mr. Beck is like, no, she cannot come back here. She cannot come back here because typhus, which is a very contagious disease. So they are now sort of living without their mother, and that's sort of where I left off. I am stay there. I have also started Jane Austen's Persuasion. I will say, I'm enjoying this more than I enjoyed Pride and Prejudice. I will say that. But her writing style just, for the most part, does not work for me. I mean, this is a story of Anne Elliot and Captain Wentworth, and they were in love, but Anne's family persuaded her to end the engagement because Captain Wentworth he was just Wentworth at that time, Frederick Wentworth. He had no prospects, he had no money, he had nothing to his name. And her family was basically like, no, you should end things with him and pursue, someone with a actual future. Even though Anne they loved each other, Wentworth and Anne. So then, like 8 years later, he comes back and he's a captain now, and he's all like, he had a glow up. Captain Wentworth definitely had a glow up, and sort of they're now sort of coming back into each other's social circles. I will say this, it took 4 chapters for them to even mention Anne and Wentworth in a scene, in the same sort of scene, to not like to even mention even like Anne and Wentworth and that relationship. 4 chapters, and it's a small book. We start off with, I think it's Anne's father, and we're following him for like 4 chapters. Why? I don't give a shit about Anne's father. I'm reading this book because you told me that it is a second chance romance between Anne Elliot and Captain Wentworth. Why are we taking 4 chapters to get there? This is what I mean. Her long run-on sentences, it takes her like 25 words to make 1 point. To make 1 point, like, in a sentence. So I am enjoying it more than Pride and Prejudice, but I hate the writing style. It's just. And again, there are like some nice, lovely lines in here. There are. I'm not. Okay, I shouldn't say I hate the writing style, because I did not like the writing style in Pride and Prejudice, but it's hard because there were some like very lovely lines written there, but it's just I hate that there's so much padding. Like I think I heard that like Charles Dickens when he wrote, he was like paid by the word. Is that what this is? Because oh my god, there's so much freaking padding and unnecessary crap around Anne and Elliot and Captain Wentworth's story that it's almost like Anne and Captain Wentworth are a subplot. And I freaking hate that in classic literature. Anna Karenina, I'm looking at you. So I am enjoying Persuasion because we are finally getting into 82 pages later. We are finally getting into Anne and Captain Wentworth's story. So we'll sort of see how that goes. I will say I am enjoying Anne Elliot miles above Elizabeth Bennet. Elizabeth Bennet annoyed the out of me. Anne Elliot, I like her so far. She admits that she was young and like stupid to have broken off her engagement because she spent the next 8 years, she didn't find another prospect, another suitor. She didn't look for one. She didn't want one. She only wanted Wentworth. So she spent the next 8 years still fully in love with this man. And now she's all like regretful. And I really like her character a lot more than Elizabeth Bennet. Good Lord, a lot more. So that's sort of what I'm reading. And I'm still, making my way through Poetry of Pablo Neruda. Very much enjoying these. I won't read you one today. Should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Why not? Let's do, shall we? Okay. So this one is called Ars Poetica. Between shadow and space, between garrisons and maidens, endowed with singular heart and doleful dreams, precipitately pale, the forehead withered, and with the mourning of an angry widower for each day of life, alas, for each invisible drop of water which I drink sleepily, and for each sound which I receive trembling. I have the same absent thirst and the same cold fever, an ear that is born an indirect anguish as if thieves or ghosts were approaching, and in a shelf of fixed and deep extent, like a humiliated waiter, like a bell slightly hoarse, like an old mirror, like the smell of a lonely house, whose rumors enter by night dead drunk, and there is a smell of clothing thrown about on the floor, and an absence of flowers. Possibly in some other way, even less melancholy, but in truth suddenly the wind that strikes my chest, the nights of infinite substance dropped into my bedroom. The noise of a day that burns with sacrifice, demands sadly whatever there is of prophetic in me, and there's a knocking of objects which call without being answered, and a ceaseless movement and a confused name. So that's just pretty. That's just so pretty. So those are what I'm reading right now. I'm going to probably be editing either my reaction for YouTube, my reaction for either I think I'm gonna do Outlander season 6 episode 4 because I have the Patreon version of that already up, but I think I'm gonna do the YouTube version, edit that today. going to be editing more of Wanted, my historical romance. I think for lunch today I'm going to have pasta. I'm going to do some more reading of Persuasion. I'm going to be watching today Denial by Rachel Weisz, with Rachel Weisz, Tom Wilkinson, and Timothy Spall. And it is about a woman confronting a Holocaust denier in court. So, it's a true story. And it's actually based on a book called Denial, Holocaust History on Trial. Amazing. I cannot wait to watch this today. Okay, so now we get to my betrayal of the book buying ban challenge that I had set for myself. Okay, so last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, was the first long shift that I had at work. And the first shift that I felt good enough to, on my lunch, spend a few minutes of it sort of walking around and like maybe, going to like the book section and picking out a book or two. So that was really great. And so I did it again this Tuesday, which was the same. It was a longer shift. So I had a lunch and 2 breaks. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take advantage. And on my lunch, I was going to buy 2 books. I did stick to that. I did stick to that. So I'm very excited because the previous Tuesday I'd wanted to get this book, but I couldn't because it was too close to when it had been put out. And for employees, you can't buy something in the store until at least it's been out for 2 days. And at that point, it had not. So I was not able to buy it then, but I was able to buy it this Tuesday. Very excited. And that was Elizabeth Gaskell's Wife and Daughters. And she's a big girl. She's a big girl, but it has introductions, notes, criticism, further reading, text summary. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like the book was actually just like this big, and the rest is like all like criticism and like introduction and preface and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm so excited to read this because, barring the ending, let's not talk about the ending. The book itself, Ruth, I loved that book. I loved that book so much. So I am so excited to read this one. And I also got my classic, and my regular fiction was Catherine Lynn Davis's Sing to Me of Dreams. And there's the insert cover, and I can already hear the shrieking of the problematic police, because Too Deep for Tears raised a whole hullabaloo. I think it is ridiculous, stupid, to just all of a sudden decide that we're going to trash and send out our pitchforks after authors who wrote books like 40, 50, 100 years ago. First of all, I read Too Deep for Tears. I have it on my keeper shelf. I love that book. I, as a non-Asian woman, did not find that book racist at all. Again, I can't speak to that. I cannot say that that book did not have racist content in it because I am not an Asian woman. So I love that book. And I think it is, again, stupid to go after an author who wrote a book like 40 years ago and put it up against the Enlightenment experience and just basic, more of a common understanding of today's society. Like, I think it's stupid to criticize those books against today's lens. Yes, that is what I mean to say. So I'm totally looking forward to this book. And again, if you think that it has like racist content in it, because first of all, this one is about a woman born of a white father and Indian mother. So I can just hear the problematic pitchfork police shrieking. I don't care. I don't care. You can care. If you are a Native person and you have an issue with this book, that's your right. What I again would find stupid is if you were to go after the author and think that this book should be burned and blah 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 because it was written like 40 years ago. If you find racist content in a book that is written today, yes, you have the right to complain about that book, criticize that book. You have the right to not buy that book. Go after them with your wallet. That's it. That's the only right and power that you should have against something that you don't like that's written. Don't buy it. Oof. And then this is what happened today. I found these books. I did not buy them. But again, the issue is not spending the money on the books, because I'll go to like thrift stores and like once a week I may be spending like, okay, I spent more than that today, but mostly once a week I may be spending like $10 on books, because I go to like thrift stores and I'll buy, like at work where I get my employee discount. These I spent nothing on because I found them on the curb. And again, sometimes people leave books on the curb. And they all seem to be mystery books. There's Jane Austen with True Believers, Rachel Lee and Hunted, and Judith Kelman's If I Should Die. And I found these three just there, like on the curb. Somebody left them out. And you know how I feel. If I find a book on a curb, it's the universe telling me that I should read that book. I believe that. So I found these. I didn't spend any money on them. Found them. Then, after I went to the post office, I mentioned that right across from the post office is the Zoinks bookstore. And I love that name. Zoinks. Zoinks. And they sell like music there as well and DVDs, but they have a really good book selection. And I got 3 books. First one I got my regular classic, and then I got my another one that I found that I had to grab. The first one was the Paper Mill Press edition of Wuthering Heights. And look at how pretty that looks. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And there's the back. And the green is like, it's metallic. I don't know if you guys can tell that. Yeah, there. It's metallic. And it's so pretty. I mean, come on. Yeah. And so I got Wuthering Heights. And I got the next L.M. Montgomery book, which is Rilla of Ingleside. And I think this is the last, like, I think there are, like, journals and, like, other things and stuff that have to do with, like, Anne and Gilbert. I think there's, like, something of quotes of them or something like that. But I think of the story arc of Anne from Gables, I think this is the last one. This is Rilla of Ingleside, and it's her Anne and Gilbert's daughter, Rilla, which I'm assuming is short for Marilla. So yeah, I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last book of the series, of the Anne from Gables series. So I had to get that, of course. And I found a Paulina Simons, which I have not read yet, which I kind of like been dancing around, but just never picked it up, really. And if you don't know Paulina Simons, she wrote the absolutely exquisite Bronze Horseman series, which for many people, that is problematic and blah, blah, blah. Don't make me go all Floki shut up on you. That is Floki's shut up. If you watched Vikings, you know. So this is The Girl in Times Square by Paulina Simons. Do not like this cover. I really do not like this cover. And if I can find, I know there was a different original cover, and I want to find that one if I end up liking this one. And it is the story of a college student named Lily Quinn and a NYPD detective named Spencer O'Malley, and I think it's her best friend disappears. Lily's best friend disappears. And The Girl in Times Square. Really looking forward to that because, oh, if you want to talk about like exquisite writing, oh my god. So those are what I got at Zoinks. Then on the way back, after I dropped stuff off at the library, but then on the way back, I actually went into the library to see what they had in their sale rack. And I ended up getting The Betrayal by Helen Dunmore. And again, it was only $2, but again, it's not about the money, it's about the space. Your girl lives in a small apartment. So I'm trying to like minimize my space. So yeah, so that happened. And then I decided that I wasn't going to go home my original way, because I was going to walk home, and that was just not going to happen. So, because I had these books now, so I went straight across to go to the bus stop, and on the way there is a thrift store. So I think we can guess what happened there. There is where I got the biggest haul yet. Because I kept finding books that I knew that that I wanted, that I was excited about, and I didn't want to risk them not being there the next time I went, because it's a thrift store. And it's not like a regular bookstore where they have like multiple copies of the same book. Rationalizing. That's what we do here. So, okay. This is what happened. I found Little House in the Big Woods. And and there's the reading order. I want to try the Little House books because I loved the TV series. And I know, problematic police with the pitchforks, they're out. And yes, I know that there was issues and blah, blah, blah. I loved the show. And I remember reading one or two of the books a very, very long time ago. And since we now have pretty much all of the Anna Green Gables books, even though I will continue to be looking at, we also have like Emily of New Moon over there for like another Lucy Montgomery series. I want to read everything that woman wrote because her writing style is just the absolute wonderfulness. I want to see if the Little House books will give me that same sort of feeling. Little House by Laura Ingalls Wilder, if you did not know. And this one is, I remember reading this one, illustrated by Garth Williams. And I think there's pictures inside and stuff too. Yeah, so I got this one, and then I got the second one, which is actually Little House on the Prairie. And not overly fond of this cover. I wish that it was this edition. But it's the House of the Prairie. And sort of like, if I like it, which I'm sure that I will, this one is not illustrated. See, Garth, I want Garth back. So I'm gonna see if I like this one, so I'm sure that I will. Look inside for a recipe, a song, and more. That's the covers of the other books, which I am not fond of, but we will still be. We'll see how this goes. So I got those, and I found V.C. Andrews' Dawn. Now, my next to Flowers in the Attic, my sister's favorite series of the V.C. Andrews books is Heaven. Next to Flowers in the Attic, my favorite series of the V.C. Andrews books is Dawn. The Dawn and like the Cutler series. I absolutely loved this series, but for some reason, I don't know where they went. I don't know where this series, like, did I never have like my own copy of it? Was it just that I got the ones that I read was from the library? I don't remember, but I finally got the first book. It was there, and it's got the insert cover. Just, oh, I cannot wait. And then I found another Lavril Spencer. Mind you, this was all at the thrift store. So this one is like the biggest haul that I got from one store. Another Lavril Spencer who I love. I love Lavril Spencer, and I'm sure that there are people that have issues with her too. I don't care. I love her books so much, but I don't remember ever reading The Hellion. So that's very excited to find that one. That thrift store that I went to, it's sort of a hit or miss whether they have like the books that they have. Sometimes there's just nothing really in there that interests me. Other times it's like a bonanza. Today was like a bonanza, and I couldn't leave them there because what if they weren't there the next time I went? And next we have Cavenden Hall by Barbara Taylor Bradford. This is the first book in the Cavenden series. Now I had Cavenden Women, and I have Cavenden Luck, and I think it was Cavenden Luck that I had first before I knew that it was a series. So I haven't read that one yet. And then I picked up Cavenden Women. I was like, nope, that's not the first book either, but I have it. And finally, found the first book. I found the first book. I'm so I couldn't leave this there. What if I never found it again? Yes, I could order it off Amazon or whatever, but what if I never found it again? So, and then I found another Leela Meacham, Somerset. And this is actually the prequel to Roses. Now, I loved Roses. I love that book so much. And this is the prequel. So, very excited. So excited for that. Of course, I couldn't leave it there. And to make myself, feel better, I got a classic. And it was Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist. So, got that. So I got, in that one store, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 books from that store. But they were all like amazing finds. So yeah, that's what happened today. But you know what? If you fall down, you pick yourself back up. We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep trying to get rid of these books that I already have. And read them and maybe put them on our keeper shelf. Maybe send them off to better homes. So I'm gonna make lunch now. And, for tomorrow, there's supposed to be a rainstorm coming tomorrow, but the temperature-wise, it's supposed to be the same as it was today, which is really nice. And even like if it rains, like if I didn't have anything to do, then I would have been like, no, like I'm staying home. But I have to go to the library and drop off some more stuff because I'm gonna, make my way through more things that I have to watch and return. And I have to go to the pharmacy to get iron pills because I got one set of iron pills last time, but they were specifically ferrous sulfate with like elemental iron sort of in them. They weren't specifically like the iron pills that I usually get, and that was a mistake and I looked it up because I've been noticing that I've been feeling like really itchy, and I couldn't figure out why and like what was going on. I feel like really, really itchy. So like I was like, okay. And then in the middle of the night last night, like I had like this moment where I was like, could it be like my iron pills? Because they're not the ones that I usually get. And apparently, yeah, one of the side effects of I don't have the bottle with me, ferrous sulfate or whatever, is itchiness. And that is a sign that you are allergic to that thing. So apparently I'm allergic to that. So I need to replace it and just spend the extra money for my regular iron pills that I usually have. So I need to do that tomorrow. And so go to the library, go to the pharmacy. If there's anything in my library on the no sale rack, we're probably going to get something there too. I didn't know. So this has been a long sort of update. That's the plan for tomorrow. Friday, I am planning to go to my sister's to watch the end of Stranger Things season 4. I think I have like 2 episodes left. Very looking forward to that. Very excited to watch that with my sister and my niece. I was gonna go on Thursday, but then my niece was like, "Can you come on Friday? Because she wants to watch it with me, and Friday she can stay up later because there's no school tomorrow, the next day on Saturday." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, fine." But then that should be really fun to be able to watch the rest of the season sort of with her and my sister. So that is the plan. All right, so I'm gonna cut this clip off here and go and make my lunch. So I will talk to you guys later. Here we go. We are about to watch, well, I am, they've already seen it, the last episode of Stranger Things season 4.
Good news, my friend.
There's my Kleenex box.
I think I'm feeling better. Shall we give her another try? Why not? Asshole.
I've already cried like 3 times in this episode, and it's not even over.
Third
At least.
tissue dab.
Yep.